Well, earlier I spoke to the veteran LGBTQ+ rights campaigner Peter Tatchell. He was actually in Qatar recently, you may have seen, and was stopped by police when he held protest signs calling the country anti-gay. He told me what it was like and his feelings now towards the country.
I was very fearful of staging a protest in Qatar. It is a police state. Protests are illegal, and people who protest do often end up in prison. So it was very nerve-wracking. But in the end, after being detained for nearly an hour, I was released and allowed to go and get on a plane to Sydney. But I've got to say that if I'd been a Qatari, the outcome would have been much darker and much more dangerous. So I did this protest in order to shine a light on Qatar's human rights abuses, particularly against LGBT+ people, women, and migrant workers. Qatar cannot be allowed to sports wash the World Cup. It cannot be allowed to use this prestigious global tournament in order to burnish its public image internationally and to bat away criticisms of its human rights record.
So this letter then from FIFA today to the competing countries, they're saying, quote, focus on the football, don't go into the politics. What are your feelings about what FIFA are meaning from this?
Well, if FIFA didn't want human rights issues to be raised, then it shouldn't have granted Qatar the right to host the World Cup. It is an own goal by FIFA and indeed by Qatar for taking on this responsibility, because now, quite rightly, a light is being shone on its abuses of its own citizens and its migrant workers. FIFA cannot have it both ways. It says that politics should stay out of the World Cup, yet Qatar is a very political state. It's a police state that abuses human rights, and therefore it's very right and proper that the world community calls out Qatar for these abuses.
FIFA's General Secretary, I think I know the answer to this, he said, no matter your race, your religion, your sexual orientation, you are most welcome. I mean, that perhaps wasn't the case when you were there.
Absolutely not. Quite clearly, I did not have the right to protest, nor the right to freedom of expression, nor do any Qatari people have those rights. And this stands completely against the principles, the human rights principles, that FIFA says it is keen to uphold. The same applies to 7 other participating countries in the World Cup. They criminalize same-sex relations, and likewise, it would be impossible for a footballer from those countries, no matter how talented and brilliant, to be selected for the national team.
We've seen the Australia team speaking out. I mean, would you want to see more of that? I mean, do you empathise that some players simply don't want to get involved and they just want to do the sport, basically?
Sport has got to be open for everyone. There's no place for discrimination, yet discrimination against LGBT+ footballers is enshrined in many, many participating countries, and that has to be called out.
16 days to go until it all starts. Peter Tatchell, thank you so much. Talk to you soon. Thank you.